Catch me if you can.
Down, Grandpa. My brother Josh was playing football and I was playing a Captain Dumbletwit card game with Grandpa.
And I think there's another Captain Dumbletwit there.
We heard a visitor arrive.
Come in, come in. They're upstairs in the sitting room.
Ah, spectacular.
Who might that be?
It was Mr. Mentor the inventor.
Mr. Mentor! What have you got there?
My latest invention. In fact, I think it's my most Wonderbubble invention ever.
Mr. Mentor doesn't just invent things, he invents words too.
Show us then.
Ta-da!
Mr. Mentor had invented the Wonderbubble Weather Watcher.
This Wonderbubble Weather Watcher tells you whether it's good weather for flying a kite, eating an ice cream, dancing in puddles, or building a snowman.
And what if it points to this picture of a house?
That means a terrible storm is on its way and you must go home at once.
And what's the weather going to be today?
I'll show you.
Mr. Mentor pulled the lever and the arrow stopped on a boat.
It's the perfect weather for a boat trip. In other words, warm and sunny with a slight breeze. Which is why I have arranged to go sailing this very afternoon with Bob the boat. I was hoping you'd come with me.
Yes, 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 please.
Oh, fabulous. I'll go and ask your aunt and uncle. Oh, maybe we'll get a lift to the harbour. It was such a long walk here and I do love riding in Campo.
Grandpa wanted to take a closer look.
I'll take a closer look.
The machine made strange noises and the arrow spun round.
Surely that's a bit weird. It shouldn't be doing that.
What are you thinking, Grandpa?
I'm thinking that I better come on this boat trip with you. In case there's a problem with this Wonderbubble Weather Watcher that needs someone small.
Not the shrinking cap, Grandpa.
Catch me if you can!
You know what happens when Grandpa shrinks. He runs about so fast I can't ever catch him. He goes swoop, swoop on Gordon the toy seagull. And zoom, zoom in Jason's car. Sometimes he flies in Josh's helicopter or rides in the Sunny Sands train. And he loves flying on my Mrs. Ostrich, which is odd because ostriches can't fly, actually. Today, he was about to jump in my pocket when we heard Uncle CJ come in.
Oh, I see Grandpa's gone for a little lie down. Jolly good, means I can have a dust around.
So, can I go on the boat trip?
Of course. Auntie Jules is going to give you a lift to the harbour. Isn't this amazing? Mr. Mentor's so clever.
Come along. Bob will be waiting for us.
Mr. Mentor picked up the Wonderbubble Weather Watcher and we went out. Uncle CJ stayed to do the tidying up, which meant Grandpa couldn't get away.
Bother.
So, Auntie Jules took us in Campo, through the ford, down the country lanes, over the bridge, until at last we got to the harbour. And there was Bob's boat, the Boomerang, waiting for us. Bob's from Australia. He's new to Sunny Sands.
Hey, Elsie, want to come on deck and help me cast off?
You bet! Mr. Mentor stayed to look after his Wonderbubble Weather Watcher. Soon we were out at sea. I was waiting for Grandpa, but he hadn't turned up. Because he was hiding in a vase, and he couldn't leave until Uncle CJ had finished dusting. At last he left the room, so Grandpa could get away. He jumped into Jason's toy plane and took off. Whee! Mr. Mentor was having a nap when I came into the cabin with some bad news. Mr. Mentor, wake up!
Oh,
Bad news. The weather's changed. The sun's gone in and it's all shivery.
And there's no wind, so we can't sail. I've had to drop anchor.
that can't be right. My Wonderbubble weather watcher is still saying it's warm and sunny with a slight breeze. Look!
And there's got to be something wrong with it.
Impossible!
I was wishing and wishing Grandpa was here. I needed him. Luckily, he was just about to land on deck.
It can't be cold and grey and still. It just can't.
Then he sneaked into the cabin. I had to talk to Grandpa alone. So I had a brilliant idea. Why don't you go and look at the weather for yourselves?
Oh, very well. Although it's quite unnecessary.
Good idea, no? Let's go have a look.
Now I could talk to Grandpa. Guess what? You were right. The Wonderbubble weather watcher isn't working properly.
OK, I'll see what I can do.
Great. And Grandpa ran across Bob's bed, jumped onto the floor, hopped up onto the table and said,
Pull the lever, Elsie.
I pulled the lever. An arrow on the Wonderbubble weather watcher spun round and round and landed on the snowman. Now it says it's snowing.
I'm going to have to take a look inside.
Then Bob and Mr. Mentor came back.
This is very disappointing, Bubble. I must have done something wrong. I'll take a look.
No! Don't look inside. You might mess things up.
But it's not working properly.
It'll fix itself if you wait a bit. Probably.
Well, I'd better hurry up about it. Maybe it's the park starter.
Sure.
The twisty turnerator.
Right.
Or it could be the whizzy wheeler. Or even the loopy lever.
Mr. Mentor was in such a panic, he accidentally pushed Bob over. All this time, Grandpa was inside the Wonderbubble weather watcher, trying hard to mend it. Bob had hurt his arm.
So sorry, Bob. I didn't mean to knock you over.
I know. It's okay. But now I'm hurt. We need to go straight back to Sunny Sands.
How can we if there's no wind for the sails?
We can use the motor instead.
I'll start it, Captain. You stay right there. I'll get that motor going quick as a flash.
I put the Wonderbubble weather watcher back on the table. Grandpa was still inside, busy fixing all the bits Mr. Mentor had got wrong. Bob called up to Mr. Mentor on deck.
How you doing up there?
Absolutely fine. I had to fiddle about a bit, but I'm going to start the engine now.
So Mr. Mentor started the engine, and there was a terrible rattling noise, which got louder and louder, and then it went.
That didn't sound too good.
Then back down the stairs he came and said,
I've broken the engine. I've broken the engine. Oh.
And I can't fix it because I hurt my arm.
Grandpa came out of the Wonderbubble weather watcher
Oh, dear.
and found a new place to hide.
Well, I mean, how are we supposed to get it started?
Oh, I'm so sorry. This is turning into a terrible boat trip. How are we going to get back to Sunny Sands now?
Oh, no worries. We'll just wait for the wind to pick up again and we can use the sails.
If only the Wonderbubble weather watcher was working properly, it could tell us how long we've got to wait.
Grandpa had mended the Wonderbubble weather watcher, so I said, why don't we try it again? It might be working now.
How? Well, it can't fix itself.
Believe me, that sort of thing happens all the time.
So Mr. Mentor pulled the lever. It was working!
Oh, it's working! Oh, yes! Oh, no! It's pointing to the little house. That means a terrible storm is coming, and we've got to go home as quickly as we can.
That's all we need. If there's a storm, it'll be too dangerous to put up the sails.
And I've broken the engine, and you can't fix it. Help, help, disaster!
While Bob was trying to calm Mr. Mentor down, Grandpa called me over.
I'm going to try to fix the engine.
Be careful. He jumped down and ran off as fast as he could.
A terrible storm is going to get us, and it's all my fault.
We'll be okay. Oh, I'll call the Coast Guard and get someone to come and rescue us.
But just then we heard this.
That's the engine. It started all by itself, just like your invention.
Fabadiculous.
Fabadiculous.
Fab-ridiculous. Means we can get home before the storm breaks.
Oh, yes. Let's get back to Sunny Sands.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to get there.
As soon as they'd gone, Grandpa appeared at the top of the steps. Grandpa,
That's the engine fixed then?
you're so clever.
Oh, it only needed somebody small. Now I better get back home too. Don't want to get caught in the storm.
No, go now. I'll see you at the mill. Phew. Grandpa flew home as fast as he could, and Auntie Jules brought me home in Campo. Grandpa jumped out of the plane, took off his shrinking cap, and came back to his normal size.
Wolfie, come on. Up here, come. There's it.
Grandpa, you made it!
So did you, safe and sound.
All down to you.
Oh, not all. You made sure Mr. Mentor didn't find me in the Wonderbubble Weather Watcher.
It was teamwork.
Teamwork.
Grandpa, you're back in your chair. And you're back too.
There's the storm the Wonderbubble Weather Watcher was telling us about. That's why we came home early.
I'm glad you did. What would we do without Mr. Mentor's inventions, eh?
Can't imagine. Teamwork.